who is the owner of My HR Partner. So I'm really excited to chat with you today, Karen. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yay. So how's your day been today, Karen?
It's been super busy. I feel like I've been on Zoom all day. Yeah, it's been good though. It's been good. Good day.
Good day. A busy day is a good day, it seems. So
yeah.
Well done. All right. So are you happy for me to get stuck straight in and start with a bunch of questions?
Sure am.
Great. Let's get going. So Karen, are you happy to talk with me about how you got into business and how long you've been running My HR Partner?
Yeah, sure. So it's coming up for nearly 10 years. So in January, my business is 10 years old. I'm still amazed that it's been that long. And how I got into business. So I worked mostly in the public service for most of my career before I started my business, and worked in lots of different roles, but mostly in HR and payroll. So I worked in a government organisation that was going through a restructure, and I had the opportunity to take a redundancy. So I know that shouldn't be the reason you start a business, but that's the honest truth of why. But one of the reasons I decided to start my own business rather than just go and find another job was I love working in HR, and I really thought it would be great to be able to provide those services to small businesses, because they're the ones that really probably need it the most and sometimes don't realise how much they need it. So I love working with small businesses. I feel like I can really make an impact and help them understand all of the things they need to know.
I think you're so right when you said that most small businesses don't know that they even need your services, because when you spoke, when you were our VIP guest speaker at our Positive Passionate Businesswoman meetup a few months ago, it really was apparent when you were talking about all the different things that we need to know as small business owners, that, you know, where are we supposed to find out this stuff? And you said sometimes it's the accountant that should be sharing that, or you know, who knows along the way. But yeah, it was fascinating to me how much there is out there that we don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, you know, a lot of people, the first place they'll go to is their accountant, or sometimes their bookkeeper, sometimes their business coach, or people will go to the Fair Work website if they even know that site exists. Sometimes people will just say to me, I didn't even know that I had to do these things. So it's great to be able to let people know and help them find the information they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as we always say, you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
So I think you can just book a one-off session with you, can't you? And just kind of talk about where you're at and what you might need to do going forward.
Yeah, so I have a few different options. I have a 10-minute free intro call, but I also have a couple of options for paid calls. So it's perfect for a small business, because if you don't want to sign up for a long-term subscription, or you don't really even know where to go, you can book in and have a 15-minute chat with me. You pay when you book in the call, you get the information you need. 15 minutes a lot of the time is enough, or there's a 30-minute option, and we get straight to the point. I get people to write in the calendar invite what they want to talk about, what they need help with, so you can fit a lot in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'll bet. I feel the same way about my own business. It's amazing what you can do in a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
Karen, what about working with people like, as you know, with me, I work with VAs, so they're offshore and all my whole team is remote. So what about for people like me that employ people that are not from this country, you know, so that we're not doing employees, for example?
Yeah, so I suppose there's a couple of things there. Firstly, from, I suppose, a legal or compliance point of view, that's not something I can help with, because I help people that employ people in Australia. But I think there's a lot of HR elements even when you're having a remote team, and they're things like communication, making sure that you're really clear in relation to what you want your VAs or other remote staff to do. to, are they a good fit for your business? You know, you've got to have that culture and values alignment. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. So I think that doesn't matter whether it's an employee that works in your physical business or whether it's a remote worker that could be in Australia or they could be overseas. It's really about making sure that you can build that really good team that gets on well, can have a bit of fun, but it's still serious to get the work done. But you've got that real connection with your team. So you know, they'll go the extra mile when they need to because you treat them really well. So I think those concepts are no different whether you're employing somebody or whether you're contracting somebody.
So people can come to you and talk to you about agreements, about company culture and all that kind of thing, whether they've got Australian staff or offshore staff.
Yeah, probably with the offshore stuff, though, it would be more about the culture and the possibly managing performance, those types of things. But from the compliance point of view, it really is more Australian-based employees. But yeah, HR's about compliance. It's about making sure that you're covering your risk and you've got policies and all those sorts of things in place. And a lot of HR policies that apply to Australian-based staff will also be relevant for your overseas staff or any type of contractor, really. So things like a code of conduct and use of social media, things like that. They're going to be applicable to anybody that works in your business. And then there are other policies that are more related to employees that are on the payroll. So things like leave policies or attendance, things like that. So there's a mix.
Gosh, as we said before, it's so important because what you don't know, you don't know. So very definitely worth booking a 10-minute chat with you to at least get sussed on where to from here. I think that would be really good. So tell us something about yourself that nobody would know or that most of us wouldn't know.
This is the one I usually have when I get asked that question. When I was in kindergarten, I was on TV, and it was quite funny because I was the shyest kid in the whole school. And I don't know why, but they picked me to be on, I think it used to be called Today Tonight. Roger Clemson was the host way back in the 70s. And he came to our school because we had this new thing called the sentence maker. And it was, when you're in kindergarten, you're still not sure on, writing and things like that. You had words that you could pick and you make the sentence on the little board. That was me. I was on TV, and like I said, I just still don't understand why I got picked because I definitely wasn't comfortable doing it. But it was, it's fun to look back on and to think, wow, why did they pick me?
And now you're on Zoom all the time.
Yep. Yep. And, hosting business chamber meetings and doing presentations.
So tell me about your involvement with the business chamber. What business chamber are you involved with?
So I'm the treasurer of Tweed Business Chamber. It's a great bunch of people, and I really like being involved and being on the management committee. We all have a turn of emceeing the meetings. So I've had 2 goes at it now. And again, something that's not particularly in my comfort zone, but I must admit, I really am starting to enjoy it. And it's a bit of fun.
Great. So how long have you been involved in your local chamber for?
I moved here 3 years ago. So pretty much since, that was probably one of the first networking events I went to when I first moved up to the Northern Rivers. So probably about 3 years.
Now, a very interesting point you just said there is about one of the first networking events you went to, because I think a lot of people wouldn't even realise that actually going to your local Chamber of Commerce meeting is, in effect, a networking event. You're meeting other people that are also in business from your local area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing, there's a lot of people that are members of their local business chamber for, the benefits that you get. So, that's affiliated to the, Business New South Wales, I think is their new name now. And, resources and things like that you can get. But for me, it's about going and connecting with other business owners and getting to know what they do and being able to support those local businesses as well. So for me, it's not always about how much business can I get if I go somewhere. It's about making those connections and looking at the businesses that are in the local area that I might be able to use their services. And for me, when I first moved here and I didn't know anyone, it was a great first place to start to go and meet some people in the local area.
And I think that it's very much what we talk about within Positive Passionate Businesswomen. So it's not about you getting business from that person in the group. It's about who you might be able to tell them about it. And so I might be not needing an HR person myself right now, but I'll be chatting with someone completely unrelated to Positive Passionate Businesswoman, but because I've met you and I can say, actually, I do know someone, because, particularly some industries, it's really hard to find those people who you can call on to help. And,
yeah.
referrals are always way much better than just looking up, yellow pages, for example.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing with, most chambers do have some type of directory. So you can find a local business in the chamber directory. And I think a lot of non-business owners wouldn't even know to look in that sort of place anyway. But for me, it's more about making those connections and getting to know people. And, I think that whole thing of know, like, and trust, being able to get to know people and then going, okay, well, I need a new website. Oh, I know somebody in the chamber that can do that for me. Or asking somebody if there's not somebody providing that sort of service, they might know somebody. So I think it's a great way to meet some people, especially if you are new to the area. And that's what I loved about it.
I've been involved in my local chamber, which is the Bangalore Chamber of Commerce, for around about 12 years. And have been in various voluntary capacities within it, so on the executive committee, etc. Then I've pulled back in the last year and I was just a member, which was my first time ever. And then what do you know, I felt I was nominated at the AGM a few weeks ago, and next thing, okay, I'm back in. But I actually really, really enjoy it. Two reasons. One, I really love being involved in helping a community grow and helping a community, and with Bangalore Chamber of Commerce, there's a lot of things that they do for fundraising and all kinds of stuff as well. But also, just exactly what you said, I love those connections that you make with local businesses. And I think because your and my business are very similar in that we work largely online. We don't need to rely on clients coming from just our local area. So it can be very easy to not actually have any connection with local business people. So yeah. I think by getting involved in your local chamber, and at our AGM we had Jane Laverty, who I believe her official title is Regional New South Wales Business. What is it? Regional Business New South Wales Manager or something like that. Something like that. A very amazing woman. I've known her for a lot of years. But she's so fascinating to listen to as well, talking about what's going on with business right now and who she's having meetings with and why businesses aren't opening right now. It's not because of this, or necessarily it's not because of all the drama with the vaccine and the non-vaccinated and all that. It's mostly, particularly for our area, because they just can't get staff, because we're so used to employing a transient, like all the backpackers and all the travelers and all that, and we don't have any of those anymore while our borders are locked. So it was very, very interesting hearing about it all. So I'm with you, and I'm glad we got this opportunity to do a little shout out for the New South Wales Chamber, and obviously your one, Tweed Chamber, and for my one, the Bangalore Chamber. And also one thing people may not know is that when you're a member of your local chamber, and I think our one's about 110 or 120 a year. Do you remember what your cost is?
Yeah, ours is about the same.
Right, so it's a very small amount of money for a whole year. But then once you're a member of your local business chamber, then there's phenomenal benefits. For example, 3 legal appointments that you can get for that money with New South Wales Business Chamber, etc. So lots and lots of amazing perks and webinars you can attend, and for business growth, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for joining your local chamber for sure, as obviously you.
Yeah, and that's a good point to make too. Those advice line calls that you can get as part of your membership, I use those myself. So if I'm not 100% sure about some advice that I'm giving to somebody, I'll call up and use one of my free calls and confirm my HR interpretation of an award or whatever. And it's a great service, and it just gives me that peace of mind that I can speak to somebody who can either confirm what I'm thinking or question what I thought was going to be the advice I was going to give. So it's good for me too to get that advice in HR.
Gosh, that's such a good point. Great, thanks, Karen. We'll be putting the links to the New South Wales Business Chamber in this caption, because I think it's a great opportunity for people to get more involved and know what's going on. Good one. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. So what would you tell other women who are just starting out in business right now? What would you want them to know?
I think just be really mindful of where you can get support and information, and just seek it out from as many places as possible. So, joining online networking groups like Positive Passionate Women, which is great. It's a really supportive group. You can meet people, not just to, potentially get business from them, but to connect and talk about different problems you might be having, and to make those connections and find out about other services. But also even free webinars and free services that might be available to you. And I think that was one of the first places I came across you, Kylie, was you were doing a webinar for Nortec, I think it was. So I think just find everything you can and take in as much as possible, but also pay for services and advice when you need it. I know it's hard when you're starting out because you've usually got no money, but just try and get as much expert advice as you can, and back yourself, and don't listen to negative people who might tell you can't do it.
Gosh, that's a really good one. Years and years and years ago, I remember having one of those business advisors come out to see me when I had my e-commerce business, and I was just kind of starting out, and I was doing the range began with nappy bags. And this very, very, very much older gentleman came to me, and I was working out of my garage, and he sat down with me and he said, firstly, I just want to say, he said, so tell me what you do. So, started launching into my little spiel. And he said, okay, just let me interrupt you, and let me just firstly say, you know what? You already just told me that you've got a 7-year-old daughter. So what are you doing? You shouldn't be working. And I was like, what do you mean I shouldn't be working? And he goes, yeah, because you're a mum and you should be doing what mums do. Why are you trying to work out of your garage? Just be the mum that you clearly want to be, and don't do this. And I said, well, actually, I'm supporting my family. My husband had an accident. He's now quadriplegic, blah, blah, blah. And I said, plus, apart from anything, I love to work. I really feel, and passionate about what I do. And he was adamant that there's no way that me as a mum with a kid at primary school should be working. It just blew my mind. He goes, there's so many of you mummy businesses all thinking that you can have it all, and you can't.
Wow.
He's lucky that put a bit of fire under me. Well, not him. I'm lucky that those words put fire under me, ready to really go and show what I could do, as opposed to, I'm sure for some listening to that, they'd be like, oh, crikey, I really, I shouldn't be doing this after all,
Yeah.
Yeah. But disturbing.
And you're exactly right. I think it could go two ways. Luckily, you were determined, and it gave you more fire to keep going. But somebody could be absolutely devastated by that, and then not continue with something could be really successful. Look, I think that's I had an accountant tell me when I was starting my business, oh, it's not a very good time to be starting a business, is it? And then his next thing was, oh, and what do you do in HR anyway? This is an accountant who really should have had a bit of a clue of what HR was all about. So I think, for me, it was like, wow, you're not the accountant for me. But again, I think it really gave me that, well, I am going to do it. And why isn't it a good time to start a business? So, yeah, I think that's important, just not to listen to people that are trying to tell you it's not a great idea.
Yeah, I agree. So no, if it feels right for you, then go and pursue it. And also there's another thing that people listening might be interested to know about, and that's sourdough business pathways. Have you heard about them, Karen?
Yeah, I'm a mentor.
Oh, me too. We will meet up no doubt at a mentor's a thing one night when they happen again in person. But I think that's a great thing for people out there to know about. And again, I think it's around that $100 mark that you pay for a year, and then you could get many different mentors that you work with through sourdough business pathways. So you become a mentee and you get lots of different mentors to work with. So it can be anything from me, for example, digital marketing, obviously with Karen for HR. There's people there to help you with finance. There's people helping you with all kinds of different things to do with business. And the mentors blow my mind with the, breadth and wealth of knowledge and expertise that they can share with you. It's quite extraordinary. And aside from that $100 that you pay for the year, everything other than that is free, which is just extraordinary, isn't it? It's a really wonderful.
I think it's great, and I like it from the mentor side of things too, because I think you learn yourself as you're helping people. So it's good.
Absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. So where would you live if you could live anywhere in the world, Karen?
Wow. I'd probably like to live overseas for a little while. I've never lived anywhere else but Australia. So I reckon living somewhere in France would be really nice for a while.
Oh, I think that sounds nice. Do you want to be near a winery or something, or in a little village?
Of course. Yeah. Wine. It's got to be near the wineries.
Bread, hot chocolates and wine.
Yeah, sounds great.
That's sounding delicious.
But honestly, look, we moved to the Northern Rivers 3 years ago, and I love it up here. We used to live about halfway between Sydney and Wollongong, which was beautiful too, but I love it up here. So it's a great place to live up here, and I don't think I'll be moving too far away from here.
It is a pretty magical spot to be, isn't it, up here on the North Coast? So for a final tip of the evening, what would be your one top tip that you would share with all women in business out there?
Look, I think just going on from before, just back yourself, be confident in what you're doing, and just love what you do. And if you're passionate about something, I think that's half the battle.
I think that's so magic. Those two words, back yourself. That's got to be your mantra, I think, Karen. That's absolutely fantastic. I just love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for so much for sharing your time with us this evening. And we love having you as part of the Positive Passionate Businesswomen group, and as part of the huddle. We loved it when you came and spoke to us and shared all your knowledge and your wisdom. So thanks for joining me again this evening. I'm really grateful for your time.
Thanks very much, and have a great night.
Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And everybody listening, in the caption, you'll find all the different ways that you can get in touch with Karen at My HR Partner. And this was Karen Hillen from My HR Partner. And me, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media, founder of Positive Passionate Businesswomen. And thank you for joining us. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.